Hi friends, welcome back to your virtual studio. I'm Zuri and I'll be leading this mobilize and stretch practice that will target the lower body and particularly to stretch the knee joint, to mobilize and to stretch the knee joint. So we're going to give the hamstrings and the muscle groups that control and manage and support the knee. All right, we're going to need a strap and a block for this practice. And once you have that, we're going to get started in a prone position or a belly down position. Now, for this first moment or this first part of the practice, you're welcome to have either your forehead facing down, being supported by your hands like this, or you might choose to turn your head and maybe have your left or your right cheek turned to one side, and your arms can stay out in this sort of bent elbow position like this. So take your pick here, see what's most comfortable for you. Feel free to add any little wiggles, any little shakes that you might need, whatever can help you arrive to stillness when you're ready. And I'm just keeping my head up so that I'm not muffling my voice into the microphone, but I'm inviting you to just leave your head down and simply surrender right now to gravity and to the mat. And just notice how the front of the body moves into the mat or into the ground with every breath in. Can we bring the attention to the lower back and think of the lower back expanding as you inhale? Just take a few breaths here, breathing in the width of your trunk and sending that breath, that expansion into the lower back. Remember that I have my head up just to not speak deeply into the microphone, but your head is down and there's no tension in the shoulders or upper neck or anywhere right now. Just the breath is moving and being engaged. There's almost a sense of decompression, right? So how much can you expand comfortably, almost seeking a sense of stretch into the lower back or into the skin or even the fabric of your clothing? How does it move when you expand the breath into the back body? And then just playfully here, one at a time, bend one knee, bringing one foot towards your sit bone and then the other. Head can stay down. We're just playfully bending one knee and then the other. And then at some point, we'll find a little stillness with both feet floating, both knees bent. Circle your ankles around. What is it like to mobilize your feet, your ankle joints here? And let's think of circling, right? Notice what direction you're going in. And then switch it. And then think of doing kind of alternating circles. So can your feet kind of alternate? Let's see if you do that one more time. And then you might release that again with a couple of kicks, maybe tapping the tops of the feet to the floor. Or see if there's a couple of windshield wipers, letting the tops of the thighs roll a bit on the mat. And then come back to a little stillness. Let the legs relax. Let the head come right back down. Find your breath here. Now we'll let the legs just kind of rest here. The forehead is going to stay down. Again, my head is just lifted so that I can speak. Your forehead will be down. And your left arm is going to come forward to reach sort of beyond the space of the crown of your head. Let your left fingertips crawl a little bit more. So just getting in a quick little check-in of the shoulder. And on the next breath, exhale and grip the ground even more with your left fingertips. On the next breath, invite those fingertips to lift and hover the arm just a centimeter to any amount, let's say, off the floor. Draw a semicircle, move the arm away from the body, internally rotate to reach behind you. Your head is still down, just the arm is moving. Circle it back, a couple of half rotations here, reaching forward, out, rotate in and down. Let's go ahead and find your last cycle here. Switching it out, left hand might become a pillow for the forehead, and the right arm is going to reach out. The right fingertips are going to grip beyond the mat, perhaps reaching the space beyond the mat. Take a nice breath in, exhale, and just grip a little bit more. Notice how the tension around the core or trunk changes. Next breath, we lift the hand, hover it a little bit, circle out, rotate the arm, half circle, and circle back. Just checking in with the shoulder here. Keep the head down. Lower body is just working enough to be stable for your arm to do the movement and not for your legs to be moving around a lot. So if you feel like the lower body is working more than it should, it's probably working as it should be. So it's okay if you feel the lower body working and your arm as your arm moves. Let's finish out your cycles, and maybe on this last one here, we can take a little pause. Both arms can take a little rest. Moving next towards a Sphinx pose, lifting the gaze, setting your arms to support the upper body here and bringing the legs a little closer together, pointing the feet, hugging the legs together and already feeling that activation through the muscles there. The pelvis, let's position it so that the pubic bone is pointing down and into the mat, almost like you're scooping the mat, like you're scooping the earth with your pelvis. And your hands with your forearms and arms are pressing down. They want to drag you forward. Now with your pelvic position being that you're pointing the tailbone down, pubic bone up, it's almost as though you're dragging your elbows towards your pelvis and you want to drag your pelvis up towards your elbows. Let's feel that extension, maybe even through the crown of the head. Can we let that be a part of this action? Heart is just being pulled forward. It's like we're dragging our chest forward. One more breath. You're welcome to stay and keep it as a stretch, or let's mobilize the spine, tucking the chin. Try to keep the pelvis as it is. We just might feel like it's rounding or sort of pointing down even more as you round into a cat pose in your Sphinx. Slowly moving back so that the spine is extended again. Same action through the arms, gripping the mat. Tailbone stays pointed down. Let's take one more. And let's pause at our next Sphinx pose. Let's let the legs relax. Let the head come right back down. Find your breath here. We'll allow the upper body to digest that work. Still keeping the head down, we'll bring the attention next to the legs. Again, my head is up just so that I can speak. Keep your head down. We're gonna now bring the legs close together as if to hug. Let's think of the left leg lifting, however, or maybe pointing so that it becomes longer than the right leg. And as a result, it lifts. Now lift that leg as high as you can without lifting your pelvis or moving into a twist here. You're still keeping your pelvis, the front of the pelvis, onto the mat. It's just the thigh, the knee, the lower leg that's coming off the floor. Keep the effort of lifting the leg. Maybe we imagine that we're kind of holding a bit of a weight, right? So what is it like to engage the muscles of your legs, maybe your glutes a little bit more? Does the leg lift a little higher? Keep that effort of holding or squeezing the muscles and lower the leg, but don't relax the muscles. Don't relax the leg. Lift it back up with that same amount of intentional tension as if you're lifting a heavy weight. And let's go a couple of times, lifting and lowering with this great effort. Let this be a movement just for your thigh, so your spine is remaining nice and still, head is down. Now you're going to work into this until you feel that there is a little heat, a little warmth into the back of that leg. If that's already happening for you, feel free to take a little pause and then you can come back. Let's see if we start to all take a little pause together with the leg lifted. Keep the effort of lifting the leg, but bend your knee. Bring your foot or your heel towards your sit bone. Now, as we're bending our knee, squeeze your knee as if you're holding something, maybe an imaginary towel behind your knee. And the thigh bone is still off the floor. Your knee is making the effort of being lifted. Your glute is playing a role here. So instead of dropping the thigh, keep the leg engaged, keep the leg lifted. While the leg is lifted, push the top of your feet, extend your knee. You can keep the foot pointed or flex the ankle as you bend the knee, drawing the heel back towards your sit bone. And continue here to extend and rebend your knee with the effort of your thigh bone staying off the floor. So again, working for a little bit of that warmth, that heat. Pause when you need to, return when you need to, or stop. When you're ready here, the next time that you bend your knee, go ahead, or actually the next time that you lengthen, let's just hold the leg nice and lengthened, then lower. Once you lower, relax the effort, relax the tension, shake things out. Feel free to add windshield wipers whenever you want to. And then reset, glue the legs together, reactivate that sense of lengthening through both legs, through both feet, head is down again. Maybe we're still kind of pointing pubic bone into the mat here, kind of scooping forward and finding even more length through your trunk, right? What is it like to keep lengthening through the trunk? Then invite your right leg to lengthen more, and then it has nowhere to go but up. So it continues to just lift until the end of the movement, but the power that brought the leg there is still present, right? So can you produce whatever power brought you there? Let's hold it for another little breath, engaging the muscles of that leg. Keep the effort and lower the leg slowly. Imagining that you're holding a weight, don't rest the leg, and then lift it right back up. Lower and lift. Take your time. Stay with your breath. When you're ready, we move into our hamstring curls. So we're going to hold that leg up. Continue the effort of keeping the thigh bone off the floor. Bend your knee. Heel towards your sit bone. Keep that knee nice and bent for a moment. Keep the effort of your thigh lifted. Then push the top of your feet to extend your knee. Lengthen the leg. Keep the foot either pointed or flex to rebend. Hamstring curl, bending and extending the knee with the effort of hip extension. That is when your thigh bone is moving further away from your trunk. Take your time as you finish out your cycles, and when you're ready to release it, see if you find the leg still lifted but lengthened with your knee. Lower the leg, rest and relax. Shake it out. Pausing in a little stillness with your breath. Take your time as you move into Sphinx pose next. Now, we're going to take a look around and see where our block is. Take a little moment, pivot, find your block. Come back onto your belly. This next movement is going to require a little bit of trial and error because we need to hold the block with our feet. So we're going to take the block and you're going to place it in this kind of long ways position, and you're going to try to hold it, do the best you can to position it, play with your feet and your ankles. You might think of flexing your ankles, right? So that you can hold the block. I give you a different perspective by turning my legs around, and then I'll wiggle back, right? So take a moment to even see what that feels like. Maybe even bend your knees and see what it's like to kind of hold the block close to your glutes, close to your sit bones here, right? Now we're going to let the upper body not be a part of this. So again, I have my gaze up and my head up to not speak deeply into the microphone, but y'all can bring your head down like this. And then think of, let's actually start with the knees straight. So what is it like? You might think of pointing the feet, right? So the ankles have to move to let you extend your knees without dropping the block. Let's make sure we have a good grip of the block, and maybe it's by positioning our pelvis or just making sure that our pelvis again is in that posterior tilt. So tailbone pointed down, pubic bone is scooping up. So a little bit stronger here, maybe feeling the thigh muscles or your glutes turning on even more. So really work on that scooping action. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Then use that effort to lift your block off the floor. Both of your legs now are lifted off the floor. Maybe both of the thighs, both knees are off the floor. Head is down. Now, with this effort of your thighs off the floor, bend your knees again. Maybe flex your ankles and bring that block towards your sit bones. Push your block away, maybe pointing your toes as you give the block to someone behind you or to the space behind you. Now this does require a lot of intention from the back of the legs, from the glutes here. Take your time with it. You can play with either flex or pointing of the feet, changing it up, or just keep the feet pointed. It's all good. You're still curling your hamstrings, still working on your hip extension, still working on those knees. When you're ready, the next time that you extend the knees and give the block away, slowly lower the block. Slowly relax the effort of your legs. Maybe relax the legs. You can separate them a little bit more, let them shake out or roll them out again. Let the head rest. Come back to your breath. Take your time as you lift your gaze. Move your hands somewhere to the space underneath the shoulders. Allow the legs, they might even stay separated, a little distance between them. So the toes might tuck. You might push yourself towards an extended child's pose variation. Now with the knees at the width that they are, you might then just bring the toes together and let your hips sink back, right? Make any other adjustments as you'd like to here. And you can allow the arms to lengthen as much as you'd like. Your forehead can surrender towards the mat, or you might use a block for a moment or for a few breaths to support this shape. The arms can remain nice and active for a stretcher. They might melt, they can soften. This can be a nice soft shape. Take what you need from it. Let's move to tabletop position next. Moving into a cat and cow, perhaps we take a segmented route, starting with the tailbone and letting the crown move last. Take the pace that you need. Let's take one more cycle. And we're going to move next into a back lying position. Take your time as you readjust. I'm going to make my way to a kneeling position. I'm also going to make sure that my strap is nearby and handy because we are going to use it soon. And take your time as you find your way to that back lying position. And you might hug your knees in towards the chest. Option 2, bring this into a happy baby pose or just kind of rocking the knees around for a little back massage. And then let's find a little stillness, maybe with both knees still tucked in towards the chest. Let's leave the right knee tucked in towards the chest and let the left leg lengthen down towards the bottom of your mat. Bring your fingers to interlace around the front of the right shin bone. And let's take a little breath in. As you exhale for wind relieving pose, we're going to draw the right knee a little closer towards the chest. Begin to flex your left foot. Your left leg becomes active as if it's lengthening beyond the bottom of the mat, but also it wants to push downward, right? So connecting to the ground and earth a little bit more. All while we're still hugging the right leg even more with each breath. Tucking the chin just a bit to bring more length into the back of the neck. One more breath with all this great effort and energy. Keep squeezing this right knee. Mobilize your right ankle next. Circle the ankle in both directions. Make sure that your thigh bone, your leg isn't swinging around. It's just the ankle and the toes doing a little movement of the right side. Now we're going to relax some of this muscular tension that we've created. Go ahead and start to maybe loosen out that right leg a little bit, circulating it manually with your arms. And then switch the grip. Bring your hands behind your thigh, interlacing fingers anywhere along the back of the thigh or knee. And you're just kind of holding your leg up here. Your knee doesn't have to be super straight. It's as extended as it comfortably can be for you. From this perspective, what is it like to point the foot and maybe look for any other lines of stretch as you mobilize the ankle from here? A couple of times in each direction. Keep your ankle flexed next. Take another breath. Think about extending your knee a little bit more. This doesn't mean that it has to move, but the muscular effort that's being produced is such that we're contracting our thigh bone and aiming our heel towards the ceiling. The shape might look different, but see if those muscles work into that directional effort. From that extension, from knee extension, we're going to bend the knee. So we need to move our hands down a little bit and slowly, very slowly, pull your heel down towards your sit bone, bend your knee, and maybe you even squeeze your fingers, right? You kind of squeeze your leg, but try to keep your knee over your hip. Keep the foot flexed, or again, you can kind of switch it out, pointing and flexing, but we are keeping some intentional tension in the leg so that as we bend and extend the knee slowly, it might feel like we're pulling and pushing an invisible weight or a resistance band. The next time you extend your knee, pause with your foot flexed, but turn your foot towards the pinky side. So your foot is now pointing towards, it's still flexed, so it's not pointing forward. It's pivoting towards your pinky side, flexing towards your face. Bend your knee again so that the outer edge of your foot or your pinky side is leading the way towards your sit bone. Squeeze your knee, bend, bend, bend. The inner edge of your foot leads the way. Your big toe leads the way to extend your knee. Keep your knee extended. Rotate your foot up there. So now your big toe is rotating in, but still in flexion. The inner edge of your foot or the arch leads the way as you close your knee again. Squeeze your foot or squeeze your knee, and maybe you're squeezing your foot. The outer foot leads the way as you extend your knee again. Flex back at center, bend the knee for the last time. Set your foot down and relax. Let it go. Digest with another breath. Rebend both knees, tuck in towards the chest. Keep now the left knee bent in towards the chest. Right leg begins to lengthen towards the bottom of the mat. Interlace fingers behind or around the left shin bones. For wind-releasing pose, take a breath in. As you exhale, squeeze the left knee a little higher, just in the directional effort of your chest. Begin next to flex the right foot, the right ankle. Perhaps tucking the chin, bringing length through the back of the neck so that there's length through the entire trunk and spine. Little energy of your right leg hugging downward. Keep the squeeze of your left leg and knee into your hand. Start to mobilize your left ankle with that energy. So some ankle cars. Pointing in each direction here. Take your time. When you're ready to release it, we're going to slowly soften and kind of relax the muscular tension and effort. Start to loosen up the left leg, manually kind of mobilizing it and turning it. And then change the grip, place your hands behind your knee and towards the back of your left thigh. Extend your leg and just kind of hold your leg there with your arms. You're welcome to also kind of use your strap here, but for this case here, we're not trying to kind of overstretch the leg. So if you're able to kind of just hold with your arms, just kind of let the weight of the leg just kind of hang on to the arms here. From that perspective, maybe pointing the foot gives you a different stretch through the space of the lower limb that we maybe didn't get when we were mobilizing the ankle earlier. So see what changes here. Circle in both directions. And then keep your ankle flexed. Next, take a nice breath in. Exhale and think about engaging. Maybe now we're kind of pushing the leg into the hands resist into the leg, engaging the effort of extending the knee. Keep the foot flexed, slowly bend your knee, move your hands as much as you need to so that you can comfortably bend, but still kind of squeeze your fingers. Keep the knee somewhere over the hip, so it's not too far forward, it's not too far back, and we can focus on a couple of knee extensions, knee bends. This is a hamstring curl from a different perspective. And so maybe the next time the leg is lengthened, keep the foot flexed, rotate the foot towards the pinky side. Foot is flexed, but we pivot towards a pinky side deviation here. fold the knee, pinky moves towards the sit bones, squeeze. Inner edge of your foot leads the way back up. Extend your knee as much as you can. Rotate big toe in. Close it out. Squeeze. Outer foot makes its way back out. Back to center. Flex your foot. Fold the knee for the last time. Squeeze. Drop the foot, relax the leg, shake it out. Feel free to release this however you need. That might be legs straight, or you might bend the knees and do a couple of windshield wipers here if that feels nice. You can also digest it in stillness and see how your body responds. Let's find our strap, and we'll bring the strap next over the right foot. Take a moment here just to, again, adapt the leg to the strap, your hands to the strap. What does this even feel like here? And then once that starts to feel comfortable, you can leave this left leg nice and bent, or you might lengthen it a little bit more just to gather some more lines of stretch. So see what feels good for you today. Flex your right foot into your strap, and just think of first pushing the strap upwards, pushing your leg literally upwards towards the ceiling. Let's take another breath. You might choose to then passively draw the leg closer towards you. So this is a passive stretch. We're looking for lines of stretch or tension anywhere in the back of the leg. It might be even through the sides of the leg here. You can use one or both hands. See if that left foot becomes nice and active. If you have the knee bent, press that left foot firmly into the ground to give you some stability, especially as you start to open the right leg out to the side. Bend your right elbow. You're welcome to use your right arm as a sort of a kickstand. And your right leg opens out, knee is still in the effort of extension. And you can push your foot into the tension of your strap, any amount. Just see that we don't drop the leg to the floor, right? That we didn't give in to gravity. There's still a sense of stretch and slight sense of resistance. Left side of your trunk and body is stable, resisting the urge to roll over to the right side. Slowly bring the leg back to center. Maybe use your left hand to help you out here. Now let's slowly bring the leg towards the middle line. First, we're going to look for a stretch in the outer or back lines of the leg. Now this is a great place to stay, or you're welcome to take this into a full twist. So I'll invite my right leg to make its way all the way down towards the left side. And that might mean that I lose a little bit of tension on my strap just so that my arms can open up to a T shape. You're welcome to morph this as you need. And if you took that twist and drop the right leg all the way towards the left side, start to use your left hand to pull your right leg, and then let your right leg pull your strap up. Let your right leg be the reason, whoop, that you come onto your back again. Bend your knee, release the strap, switch it to the other leg. Take your time to let your left leg here accommodate with the strap. It's also just seeing what it's like to point upwards. How does the hamstring and back of the knee feel here? When you're ready, either the right knee stays bent or it stays lengthened. Take another breath. Start to then push your foot into the strap, pushing the leg upwards into the ceiling. Slowly here, you can stay as you are, or invite the strap to pull the leg passively towards you. This is where we find a passive stretch in just anywhere through the back of the leg, right? And it's not really about feeling for sensations here. The muscle is lengthening whether you feel it or not. Let's start to find the grip perhaps with just the left hand opening up towards the left side. Your right leg activates even more. Your left elbow can be a kickstand, but the right side of your body starts to produce even more energy, reducing the urge of rotating towards the left side. We're still lengthening the leg, creating the effort of knee extension and perhaps pushing into the tension of our strap. You might feel like there's movement, right? There might still be somewhere else to kind of bring the leg to. Don't feel like you have to be super frozen. After a couple of breaths, there might be a little bit more space to move the leg. When you're ready, start to bring the leg back to center, maybe switching the grip with the right hand, moving the leg towards your midline. And that's a great place to stay. Or you might cross all the way over into a twist, dropping the right leg towards the ground. Left arm can open up. We still have some kind of attachment to our strap, but maybe we lost some of the grip. Keep the grip or refine the grip of your hand to strap so that you can pull the leg up, but then let the leg pull the strap back up, and that's the reason you come back to center. Bend the knee to release the strap. Bend both knees, place the feet on the ground. You can stay here or hug the knees in towards the chest. We're moving into a reclined pigeon pose. Here, leave the right foot on the ground and take your left foot to cross behind the right knee. This is already a great place to stay, where we can invite the left heel of the wrist to kind of just push into the left knee. Or you might pick up your right thigh, hug or thread your hands behind your right thigh and knee. And then you can use your hands to pull your left leg, your left shin bone in the direction of the chest. Any degree, any amount, you're in control of the sensations and of the stretch here. Foot can be flexed, right? But you can still create an effort of passive stretch, and maybe the right foot is relaxed, right? You can play with different sensations. Overall, we're still creating more or less a number 4 shape to find a little bit of an outer hip stretch or glute stretch, right? Different lines that we're working with here. You're also welcome to use your elbow to help push further into that passive stretch. The left elbow might push gently into the left knee, or it can still be your hand. Morph it as you need. Maybe another breath. This isn't a stretch that we kind of do quickly. This is something that we kind of take time, give time to. A bunch of tiny little but great muscles that we're targeting, especially around the glutes. Let's switch it up. Right ankle crosses behind the left knee. This is a great place to stay or even just to begin. Pushing the right hand or palm gently against the knee and thigh, inviting a sense of external rotation. Or bringing that leg up. Threading hands behind the left thigh. And just taking your time here. With each breath, you can decide how much more effort your arms draw the legs towards you. If your feet stay active or a little more relaxed, that's up to you. Your elbow can play a role here. And just respecting that each side can be different. Left and right sides can have their own little demands or requests. When you're ready, start to release, soften some of that grip, release the feet down. Perhaps stillness or a few windshield wipers. We'll meet again with the feet on the mat, knees bent, moving towards a bridge pose, finding our pelvis next here. Tilt the pelvis backwards. And slowly invite each segment of your spine to peel off the floor. Your hands can stay on the ground. They can grip each end of your mat, maybe even pulling the mat apart, engaging, right? So at the same time, you're engaging your legs, your feet, your glutes, pointing your tailbone towards the backs of the knees. Another option for the arms is to allow the hands to interlace and bring the pinkies towards the ground. So a little elbow extension, arms energetically hug the ground or pull the mat apart. While the effort of the thighs is being lifted upwards, glutes are a part of this action. Slowly release the grip of fingers or hands. Think of rounding the upper back slowly, setting it onto the mat. Then the mid, then the lower back. And we're slowly onto our back lying position again. Lengthen your legs. This time, keep the legs together. Flex the feet as if you were in mountain pose. Tuck your tailbone here. Draw the pubic bone up towards the chest. Let your arms start to reach forward and up. So as if we're moving towards mountain pose, but the arms are being elevated. Maybe the shoulders lift up towards the ears. Push the palms now forward. The fingers are going to move to point towards the feet. Start to slowly tuck your chin and lift your head, curling just the upper back, and thinking of bringing fingers just towards the feet, but that's it, only the upper back is lifting. Segment so that you bring your spine back to the floor, arms slowly stretch and reach right back up. Keep the legs nice and flexed here, or feet nice and flexed. Tailbone is still pointed down, arms move forward. Tuck your chin, lift your head. curling just the upper spine. Slowly release the spine, bring the hands back over the head. This time let the hands stay. Bend your knees, place the feet on the mat, then pick up the knees and bring them towards the chest. The feet come off the mat. Flex the feet with just the power of your legs and your trunk. Hug the knees towards the chest even more. Leave the arms over the head if you can. The next breath, push your palms up towards the ceiling again, and then down towards the direction of the bottom of your mat. Tuck your chin, lift your head again, forehead towards the direction of the knees. And just one more breath here. Slowly release it all back down. Feet find the floor, arms can reach over the head for a final stretch. Maybe everything takes one last little stretch. Big little squeeze of everything. You might then decide that this is a great place to stay, just kind of lying in Shavasana, corpse pose. But if you choose, you might bring your blocks. Maybe there is a supported bridge pose or any other shape where you might digest your practice. I'm going to go for a supported bridge today, where I take a block and at a low setting, you're welcome to go for a high setting, but I'm going to place it around the space of my sacrum, so the bony part of my lower back. The bigger bony part, because I guess our spine is bony, but the bigger plate, right? The very back of the pelvis. And only if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, morph this as you need. And see if your breath is the next thing that you can bring your attention to. How is the breath moving now? Continue to observe your breath. And allow your body to surrender to each exhale, perhaps softening more and more. Invite a deeper breath in next. Allowing the body to reawaken gently, Perhaps subtle movements through fingers, toes, or any other joint, perhaps that might organically or reflexively move next. Taking your time as you readjust from the shape that you were in, making your way towards a final upright seat so that we may seal our practice together. The hands may rest comfortably somewhere over knees or thighs. See if you can step into your heart and mind space for a moment. Is there room for gratitude today? Let's place a little something there, whatever might connect to you when you think of gratitude. And from that space of gratitude, is there an intention? Perhaps a way to extend your sense of mindfulness beyond this moment. The hands can stay as they are, or they might come together at heart center in Anjali Mudra. And we'll seal our practice together with 3 cleansing breaths. A breath in through the nose, and a full breath out. Full breath in, and a full breath out. Final breath. As you exhale, perhaps bowing to your space and practice, recognizing the power within your breath and yourself as your own best teacher.